Hi.
Okay, that's good.
Good?
You're perfect. Okay.
All right.
Well, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this is Shot 30 Podcast, and I am Shane Newbert, and sitting across from me today is Miss Bobbie Versluis. Hi, Bobbie.
Hello.
Okay, now the hard part's out of the way. Now we're just in it. Now we're doing the podcast.
Now we're just having a conversation.
Okay, Miss Bobbie Versluis has you have a really incredible story.
I do.
And when you really dig down into it further, I mean, okay, so you had lupus? Or do you have lupus? Is it something that goes away?
No, you can control the symptoms of lupus, but I don't think it ever goes away. It's just an autoimmune.
Okay, and so you also had, is it called fibromyalgia or myalgia?
Fibromyalgia.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
And okay, so we also had learned a lot about lupus and epilepsy through a guest we had on the show 6-7 months ago.
Okay.
And she kind of broke it down, the epilepsy thing for us, and in a way that helped a lot of people. And you don't really realize these type of things like that someone may go through with something that can be hidden.
Right.
Okay, so we'll dive into it. First of all, I want to say Shot 30 Podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, CastBox, and YouTube if you're just listening on one of the apps. Okay, so when did you get diagnosed with lupus?
Probably about 10 years ago. I was super healthy and strong and not fit and played softball and stuff like that. And then I went on an ADD drug due to focus and things like that. And then I think that was probably the clincher that kind of put me into kind of an autoimmune deficiency.
Okay, so did you start noticing by not moving much anymore and stuff like that?
I just started getting lethargic. I was just having, and it was just, it was probably a couple of years where it kind of just started real slow. Had to quit playing softball, and it just kind of progressively got worse from there. And it just, I would get stiff, I would get sore, and I just couldn't. And pretty soon, I just couldn't. I could barely walk. Because
here's the thing too that's crazy that you even say that, and I don't know you before, but I know you now. You're a high-strung person.
Very.
You're an excited person. You like to move. You even move when you talk.
Right.
And so for you to be there, and I will also say, Bobbie does CrossFit, and if you go to Bobbie's page, you're jacked. You are pretty jacked.
For an old lady, I'm not bad. Yeah.
You got a gun. You got the gun show. You got the gun show.
Yeah, I guess.
So now the lifting and everything, was that a thing that you used to do, or that's what really?
No, growing up, I did. I wasn't super athletic. I did karate and other things. No, nothing extreme. But like I said, I just kind of played on some softball leagues, as an adult through work and stuff like that. So I've been active, but never sports related active. So it wasn't until I started becoming healthy that I kind of got into the fitness area.
Oh, I can only imagine. For those of you who are listening who remember the Bone Collector and Ken Versluis, this is his wife. I could only imagine you and Ken playing slow pitch softball. I bet he sucks.
He's great.
Is he really?
Is phenomenal.
No way.
Yes.
God, he would too.
Yes. He is a phenomenal athlete.
I don't know if he's told you, but the past 3 days he messages me and I always think he's messing with me. Because he's so sarcastic all the time. I always think he's messing with me. Oh, your mom called up here. And there's always a reason, there's always something behind it. He called me today. Hey, Bobbie thinks that you canceled on the podcast with her. I was like, why are you messing with me? Ken, why are you messing with me? Well, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, and it turns out I had just talked to you. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, try living with him.
Oh, man, that guy sucks.
Never a dull moment, that's for sure.
I will drop this out here. First of all, Shot 30 Podcast is sponsored by The Bone Collector in Viola, Illinois. Hey, Ken is one of the greatest guys I've ever met. Could you agree? It's so talented.
I can't agree to this many people. To you, okay. If we cut this part out, yes.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Handsome, charming, an asshole. But hey, he makes great barbecue, and it's a beautiful business. Viola, Illinois, they do catering and They're open on weekends. Sometimes he does pop-up sales and stuff during the week. It is absolutely incredible. And I got more samples today. So they're going to be on the podcast every single day, every single week. Go visit the Bone Collector, Viola, Illinois. You can visit their Facebook page. And it's not the Bone Collector on their Facebook page. I've had a lot of people message me. It is Bone Collector BBQ and Catering. Yeah, that's what it is. I got it. Whew.
There you go. That's a lot.
Yeah, and those sardines and mac and cheese, they don't make that there if you see that on the page. No. That is a nasty... It's so funny that people think that those things that he posts are real.
And he has to put, this is a joke at the bottom because people... Yeah.
Yeah, literally a turkey that was literally just charcoal. And people are like, wow, this is really what you do up there?
Yeah.
It's the internet. It's the internet.
Right. Everything's true on the internet.
Okay, so now, you had a handicap sticker or the little hangy thing.
I did.
Now, because you weren't able to move.
Right. Yeah. I probably progressively got worse. It was to the point where if I would stand up to walk across the room, Ken would have to help me stand up. I would hold my breath to walk across the room. So I started seeing doctors and things, and each specialist that you go to, that's what's wrong. So it was MS, it was, there was just a whole bunch of different things that they were trying to diagnose me with. And they ended up just landing on fibromyalgia and lupus, which to me is almost a catch-all sometimes, because if they can't figure out what's wrong with you, then it's kind of a pain disorder and autoimmune.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they left me. And so then they just put me on a bunch of drugs and said, all right, come back and see us once a month.
And see, the drugs are a thing that they can mess with your body. They can mess with your mind.
Oh, it's horrible.
That's the thing about like the opioid crisis and all these things, that it is a crisis. It's a real deal. Like when you're just taking medication and what is actually wrong with you, you're taking medication for, isn't helping you.
Right.
That is... So you guys, you and Ken both, like, did you just do, like, a leap of faith into the gluten-free?
Yeah, sort of. He had seen something on the internet, and it had been a couple years that I was taking pain meds every single day. A pain med that actually is outlawed now, so that I'm sure that was really healthy for my body.
Yeah.
And so I was just drugged out all the time. I just couldn't take it. And so I think he saw something on the internet. I was seeing an acupuncturist at the time. And she had so I kind of said something to her about the possibility of food or something. And she recommended a couple books. And one of them was called The Virgin Diet. And it's an elimination diet where this one was only for like 7 days, and you take 7 of the most intolerant foods out of your diet completely.
Oh yeah.
And then slowly you add one at a time back in, just to see which ones you have a reaction to.
Exactly. Okay, I see that. They also have this thing now where you can go in and take a test, and they can right away tell you what foods, like literally a list down to things like an apple, an egg. And it tells you that whole list. And that, so
but this was 10 years ago.
Okay,
so
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So you went from... Okay, so you go gluten-free, and your body, how does it react right after? Is it immediate? Is it, you had to...
I could see improvements immediately. I have a gluten intolerance, egg intolerance, and dairy intolerance. The eggs and the dairy I can still do every once in a while. The gluten I'm 100%. But within a couple days I had lost a little bit of weight. Within the 7 days I'd lost weight. And I was over 200 pounds. So I'd lost a little bit of weight. I was starting to move a little bit more. I mean, it was a slow transition, but within a month it was huge.
Yeah. And it's kind of like with the working out, like, even though like a 5-pound bench PR seems like a small little feat, it's still a huge feat in your mind. Like you're getting better. Like, so even the thing like walking to the refrigerator and your body isn't aching, that's a huge deal for you, even though it doesn't seem like a huge deal in the full aspect of things.
For sure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That is crazy. So, and then you go from that to, I mean, killing it in CrossFit, like killing it. I don't care what you say, you're killing it.
I don't know that I'm killing it, but yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, I am a firm believer on functional fitness and functional training and trainers, and they've just been phenomenal with me. And
where do you train out of?
Right now I train out of New City
Is that
Fitness.
Is that the one in Sherrard?
Nope, this is in Bettendorf, Iowa.
Oh, okay. So you make the trip there?
I do. I actually drive there every morning. I go to a 5 a.m. class, and then I work.
Oh, so you wake up way early.
Yeah, and I work from home, so I drive in, go to class, and then drive home.
Now I know why you're so high strung. It's all that coffee. This is your coffee every point of the day.
Let's say that at 5 a.m. I'm rolling in hot. Everybody else is, they've only been up for 5 minutes, and they're kind of rolling in, and I'm coming in hot. I don't talk to people all day anymore, and I'm nonstop from 5 and
That's awesome. And then you also on the weekends too, you're helping out at the shop. And I mean, as Ken said, that you are the cook,
I'm not the cook.
The CEO, everything but the cook.
I am the HR manager. I'm the co-owner. I'm front of the house manager, and I am sous chef now too.
And you are the face of the company.
Wait, that's a pig.
Oh shit! Wait! That was a wrong move. I meant like that was a way wrong move. Okay, sorry. Ken's the face of the company
for sure.
I just meant it in a way that it's your company. It's your business.
It's his business.
Okay, so have you traveled with him to do all of those, like competitions and stuff?
Not a lot. Some of the local ones, I definitely go and support him and things like that, but not generally the overnight ones when he was doing the weekend trips.
I could see how like that could really help towards a diet though. I mean, a lot of barbecue stuff is, it's just meat. And so, am I wrong?
Yeah, it's a lot of protein. And we use all gluten-free sauces, all gluten-free spices and rubs and things like that. So there's no limit to what I can have on the carnivore side. It's
is that what you do now? Carnivore diet? Because I did that and I loved it.
I do really well on it, and my body adapts to it really well. I just get bored with it easy.
Oh, I understand that too.
So I try to stay more protein and more carnivore, but I try to.
Have you ever done keto?
Yeah.
Do you like keto?
I do. My body requires more carbs than keto allows in order to get into actual ketosis. You've got to be pretty limited, and my body just doesn't react to that very well.
And so where did the hobby of the cakes and stuff come in? Because there was a big passion for that.
Yeah. Actually, my daughter was getting married, and I think she's been married 10 years. Because she just turned 30. So she's been married 10 years. And when she decided to get married, we tried to price out cupcakes, cakes like that. And it was just ridiculously priced.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, how hard can this be? It is way harder than I gave them credit for. But yeah, so I took like a little cake decorating class. And then it just kind of expanded for quite a few years after that. And I was doing cakes and cake balls. Cake balls was my specialty.
Yeah, I've heard about multiple people have said that actually. Yeah. That you were a cake ball specialist.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so now what do you do for a living?
I work for Sherwin-Williams. I'm customer service.
Is that insurance?
No, it's paint.
Sherwin-Williams. Paint. Yeah, that's
paint
it.
Company. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if I was trying to figure out the vlog that you're doing. First of all, I love that you're doing that. You have a way with talking about yourself and talking about things that it's a hard thing for people to do, especially when it's things that are tough like this.
Right.
But where is your vlog at?
It's just on Instagram right now, and I just started it last week.
You should start your own real page, like one that is fully based like around you, like not like an HTTP or whatever, but you can like go onto like people's sites that have vlog sites where you just start and then people will join yours. Oh. Instagram's a kind of a tough one because it's just so small and you can only put so much in there. But you should also do a TikTok too.
Yeah, TikTok's for the crazy kids.
No, it's not. No, it's not. There's a category for TikTok for everything.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never even been on TikTok.
Oh,
I don't even think when somebody shares something on Instagram or Facebook or the old lady sites, then I...
The old lady... Yeah. What? Name an old lady site, because I can name one.
Yeah, I don't know, Facebook, I guess.
Timmery's part of a cricket site.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're part of it? Oh, okay. Yeah. There's an old lady site. Yeah, Timmery goes on there, and they all start intermingling and everything. Yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so now when we talk about this handicap sticker, I wanted to go back to this thing.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to say goodbye to.
Yeah, I actually
row?
didn't even want it. I mean, it was something that
Feels demoralizing, kind of.
well, yeah, a little bit. I was just there's so many worse people off than I was that deserve the handicap spaces.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they're struggling to, they're in a wheelchair or they're really struggling to walk. I really had it in my mind that this was just a temporary thing and I was going to get better. And so the handicap sticker, I don't know want to say it was demoralizing, but it was just, there was just so many people that were way worse off than me. So I tried not to use it very often. Mm-hmm. There was a couple times, daughter's cheerleading competitions, running late. I'm like, ooh, handicap sticker. We'd pull up front. Mm-hmm. We'd use it for things like that.
And I guess I strayed away from that. I'm a scatterbrain real bad. Like I go all over the place all the time. But now, so this vlog, can you tell people what it's about and how to get to that?
Yeah, it's
because I know a lot of people who'd really enjoy that.
For sure, it's just on Instagram right now. Although I'm getting the advice to expand. It's handicap 2 healthy and the number 2. So handicap the number 2 healthy.
Yep. Okay. Well, we'll probably just right here. We'll put that link right there. You see how crooked that was? Okay. Yeah. Somewhere in that area. Somewhere on the area on the screen. Now, with the CrossFit, so have you done like competitions? And I mean, I know you've done some, but have you actually done the competitions, the bigger ones?
Yes and no.
Because it looked like it from your pictures, but it's so hard to tell sometimes because there's so many great photographers that just go to gyms now. Yeah. It's hard to tell.
No, these were actual competitions. My favorite one was, there's one downtown in the district in Rock Island, and it's a bigger one. And unfortunately, I'm generally one of the oldest ones competing, so I'm competing much of younger people. Mm-hmm. But I have a lot of fun.
But you can also, I mean, set a bar for a lot of people too. A lot of older people as well are getting into things like this. I mean. Yeah. And are starting to push themselves longer and wanting to get into things at an older age. The internet has created a thing in a different side of it. The internet sucks and it's great and blah, blah, blah. But it's created a thing where you can learn to take care of your body at an older age and motivate yourself and keep pushing yourself forward. Yeah. And that's what you're doing. And that's what you're actually doing for a lot of people too, as well with your page. Not the fact that you're older, because you're not that old, but but the fact that you've went through a huge health issue, and a lot of people can go and look at your stuff and get better too.
Right.
And that's a huge goal to set after you're done with you get through this illness. It's very easy to be like, oh, okay, I'm good now. But no, you said I want to get jacked. I'm going to start working out. Hey, and it looks like Cole's following the footsteps.
He's a pretty amazing kid. Yeah, he does well. Him and I actually started CrossFit together. We were going to a place called 1031 Fitness, and at the time he was 15, 16-year-old, and he would go with me. And then he started lifting with some of his buddies at school and things like that, and now he's a power lifter.
He is definitely a power lifter. He's got numbers on the board, and I really like his mindset. His mindset towards it is absolutely awesome. Are you a American Ninja Warrior type of person?
No.
Oh, really? I feel like that's like CrossFit and American Ninja Warrior hold hands. But more Tough Mudder, I guess. That's more of a Tough Mudder type thing.
Yeah, that's more the Spartan race and things like that, because of the obstacles and things like that. I would just trip and fall in the mud.
Oh, man, I would be a mess. Yeah. The second that I'm in mud and then it's hardening on me now.
And then you have to run. I don't run.
Oh, yeah. I move, but I don't run.
Right.
Hey, Shot 30 Podcast is sponsored by Mrs. Newbie's Cakes and Cookies. Visit Mrs. Newbie's Cakes and Cookies on Facebook and Instagram today. She is selling cocoa bombs and caramels like there is no tomorrow. Hey, she made the mistake of wanting to put it out to everybody, and so she's been a busy girl. Visit Mrs. Newbie's Cakes and Cookies on Facebook and Instagram today and put in your orders. Also, we've got, this is a first time deal, so this is going to be, I can't memorize this as good as I normally can. Is it the time of year that you need like a new car? Do you see the way I'm doing this?
Yeah. I totally just bought one.
Oh, dang. Well, you could have went to Peel Automotive in Princeton, Illinois. What they're doing is we teamed up together. Matt Manning, he's the guy you want to see. He's going to give you $500 off your trade-in if you mention Shot 30 Podcast and you buy a new car. They have all kinds of deals, end-of-the-year deals. Matt Manning and Peel Automotive in Princeton. Go check him out. He's got a page on Facebook. He's got his hours posted, and Peel Automotive is, this is a great deal. $500 off your trade-in, an additional $500. So go visit Peel Automotive, Matt Manning. That is Matt Manning, like Peyton Manning. He's the Peyton Manning of car salesmen. Go visit them, Peel Automotive in Princeton today. Yeah, that was...
I will say those caramels that you just discussed are phenomenal.
Well, we heard the whole debacle that went down back and forth between those macaroons. Ken said that you were trying to hide them for yourself when we were telling...
Sure.
Oh, I totally understand that.
Oh, yeah.
When I was telling Ken that they were made with almond flour, so they're gluten-free, so you could have them. And, you had...
And he didn't even know about them.
Yeah. And he's like, what the hell is this?
He comes walking, he says, hey, those macaroons are made with almond flour. And he's looking around, I'm like... I don't know what you're talking about.
Cole looked real mad. Cole looked real mad when we gave it to him, and we were like, "Hey, take these back." And he was like, "Yeah, right." He walked out the door like, "Yeah, right."
And he didn't even open them.
Oh wow, man! You meet some people in life, and you just think to yourself, "That person's a really good person," and he is really good, genuine person. He said to me when we were lifting. He came over, we did a little powerlifting session for people listening. And he said, I told him, I was like, that looked like shit. And he went, wow. I was like, I took a video of it, look at it. And he goes, God, that looked like shit. And then he goes, I was like, it was slow as hell. I said, it was painfully slow. And he goes, it absolutely was. And then he looked at me and he said, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. I was like, God, I love this guy.
He is, yeah.
Put him in my backpack and carry him around with me everywhere I go.
There was, we had a conversation with my kids. I have 3 and Ken has 2, so between us we have 5 kids. And Cole is the youngest of all 5 of them. Mm-hmm. And we were reminiscing the other day, and my daughter reminded me that the time Cole knew that I was at the gym, texted me as soon as I got there and said, I'm going to go over my buddy's house. If you don't want me to go, text me back. Well, he knew that I wouldn't get my phone for an hour, so he was pulling the angle that, well, you didn't text me back, so therefore it's okay.
Dang.
So he's always been an angle kid.
Oh, so he may appear to be this nice guy, but he's got motivation. He's got motives.
Sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I did just see something on the internet, and this is not relevant to anything that we're talking about, but man, it fired me up. Have you seen this video of this not high school, but this 9-year-old football coach? It's for like 9-year-olds. It's like this 9-year-old league, whatever, like a junior football league. And this guy, he walks over to this 9-year-old. He's a coach, and the kid comes run off the field, football player, and he hits the kid on the head. Kid goes to the ground. The kid gets back up, and he starts yelling at another kid, and he literally grabs this kid by the helmet and throws him on the ground. And I just got an update on YouTube or on Yahoo. That's why I'm mentioning it now, right before we came down here. But it said that this guy has been banned indefinitely. I'm like, yeah, you think?
Banned and arrested?
How does a person like that get? I mean,
in a position to coach our kids?
And and how does he make it that far? How does he make it that far into, I mean, it's probably the last game of the year for little kids football, I would assume. Yeah. But how does he make it that far to where this is happening not just once, but twice in a matter of a 3-second or 10-second video?
Wow.
Ugh.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was so disgusted by it. Yeah, I just don't understand how people get in these positions of some sort of authority.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to go back. We're going to backtrack a little bit here. So I want to talk about beforehand. Before You got sick before.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what was the you like before then? How did your illness and the lupus and the fibromyalgia, how did it change you as a person and the way you look at life?
It's
kind of a deep question.
That is kind of a deep question. Yeah. I think with any, a disease like that, I think there's just the added depression, because like I said, I was active. I was never, I was the bad kid. I drank too much. I smoked too much pot. I hope my kids aren't listening. I don't really mean this, guys.
Yeah. She just made it up. We'll just bleep.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. I was just a bad kid, did a lot of bad things. And, that was just wild. And I was always smiling. I was always laughing. A lot of it was kind of an exterior kind of thing, I guess.
Oh yeah.
And then so this hit, and then you can't fake it anymore. So then you get into a depression, and it's just, yeah.
And I mean, so you're in this rut. I mean, I'm just calling the illness, like when you're in this illness, it's like a rut in the road.
Right, sure.
Like you're sick and you can't move. What did you think? What did you feel? What were you? I mean, I know you were pushing to try to find out when you're gonna get better, or this is gonna pass. But what did you feel during that period of time? Were you just all the way just depression?
Yeah, for the longest time, it was just depression. It was, we Ken and I joke all the time because everything has to have humor. That's just the way I operate. And so, do you ever follow the show House? Or are you too young?
Oh yeah, House, yeah.
Yeah. Well, every episode, and that show was super popular when I was going through all this. And every single episode, one of the interns would say, it's lupus, and House would say it's never lupus.
I do know that.
Yeah. So during this whole thing, every time a doctor would come back and say we don't know yet, try this medicine, try this autoimmune, suppressant, things like that. We'd always come back and I'd have good days and bad days. There was days that I was feeling fine, but then there was days that I was just miserable and couldn't get out of bed, and the big joke was that my lupus is acting up, and so when the nurse called and said, and she was very nonchalant about the phone call. And it's just like, to me, lupus was, it was a big deal. It's a big
devastating.
word.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so she called and she goes, well, it's just lupus. What can you explain what this is? Oh, well, there's really no cure for it. And you just have to take these pills and just go back and see the doctor and you'll be fine.
And what an insensitive way to go about something.
Very insensitive. And I was at work at the time. So she had called me at work to give me my test results. They do some type of inflammatory, I don't understand it, but some type of inflammatory sed rate or I don't remember what they called it. But there was inflammation, and that's how they diagnosed it, I guess. And she said that, we'll just keep track of your drug levels and you'll be fine. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I think that insensitivity is kind of what, it just pissed me off.
Oh yeah, it'll fire up anybody.
And so at that point, I'm like, no, this is not cool. This is not. We've got to figure something out here.
Or to think, when no matter what, like what type of bad news someone gets, something like that is a sensitive way, and then that is a terrible way to go about that. Like to drop news to you, it's like. Oh, your dad's real sick. He's gonna need one of his lungs taken away. That's not that bad. You shouldn't worry about it. He's got another one. Like right. what the fuck are you doing here?
Exactly. And that's exactly how it was. So it was, and so then I was I went through. Almost like a grieving process where I was really mad, and then I was angry, and then I'd make excuses, and then sometimes when I didn't want to do something, it was just like, am I going to make it worse? So there was just so many questions.
I understand that. When I was really suffering with depression for a long time, and they gave me this medication called Latuda, and Latuda made me la nutso, like.
I was Have you ever heard of Lyrica?
Oh, yeah. It's the same thing. It's one of those commercials, too. It's one of those, just get Lyrica.
Okay.
You will be feeling better in a matter of moments.
So I'm sitting in my office. We had like little cubicles, and I'm sitting in my office, and it was one of the very first times that I've been on this Lyrica. And I'm sitting in my office, and all of a sudden I lean back, and I look at this other girl that works in there, and I look at her, and I went, I'm fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
And she goes, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. I was so stoned. And I'm like, so yeah. And I mean, oh yeah, you're fine to drive. Really? Because I am so high right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, they would give me Latuda, then I would have Xanax, and then I would have some other thing. And so I just put them in. I was a cocktail.
Yeah.
Like, I was just, shake me up and let's see what happens to me today. And I went nuts. And then when I finally stopped taking Latuda, I went cold turkey from it. Like a very deep, dark depression medication. I went cold turkey. And like the next day I was like, I actually feel like I'm living life right now. Like, I actually feel like, oh man, it changed everything. I had the shakes every night. Like when I would take this med, I would like claw. Like if it was then, I would just sit here and just nervous claw until my fingers were all bloody. I had no nails, and I would have clawed through this.
Really?
Oh yeah, I did it through sheets and mattresses.
And doctors prescribe this shit.
Oh, I know.
And that's I think that's my problem now, is looking back and to look back and know that, and not that I know that it was the ADD medicine, but that was when I can remember, this is when I started kind of slowly, because I had to quit softball, and that's, and I had fun doing that. And so, that was kind of like the slow down scent.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like we're saying that doctors are dumb people, but it's sometimes maybe doctors don't listen or hear what it works. Maybe it works 90% of the time, but 10% of the time we're the people. 10% of the time somebody's struggling and it's not working.
I disagree with your numbers, your percentages.
Oh no, I was just shouting out a number.
Yeah. I think American medicine is, all we do is fight the symptoms. 100%. Doctors treat the symptoms, and then they try to cover up the symptoms. When you need to treat what's causing the symptoms, there's so much different things in the body. The body is designed to heal itself. And that's, I'm a firm believer that if you give the body what it needs and stay away from the things that it doesn't, it's one of our principles of health at New City Fitness.
City Fitness. Where's that? That's Bettendorf?
Bettendorf, Iowa.
Bettendorf, Iowa. New City Fitness. Go check it out.
There you go. But we have principles of health. And the first thing is, eat real food most of the time in order to survive and thrive. And so I just think the doctors, they just get so stuck on treating all of these symptoms instead of treating the cause of the symptoms.
Okay, so now that you say that, and now I feel more comfortable. I'm a vulnerable guy, so I say things that try to make I teeter around things. I have felt so many times, and so many things have happened where I was in the doctor's office telling them for weeks that I was in so much pain. My stomach, this is a whole separate thing. My stomach hurts so bad. I don't know what's going on. I get lightheaded, shortness of breath. My body hurts. I had a ruptured appendix for weeks. And they just kept telling me, no, it's this. Oh, it's a kidney stone. Oh, it's that. And just kept giving me all these different types of meds. And then when it finally, all the way was done, I was army crawling. It was 1 a.m. and I was army crawling my way to the truck. And I was bawling my eyes out. And Timmery wakes up and she goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I need to go to the doctor. I need to go to..." And she put me in the car and they're like, "Oh, your appendix is just gave out all the way." I'm like, gosh. I knew something was going on, but when you sit there across from a doctor and you tell them something is actually wrong, no, it's not. Yeah. It makes you feel like, why am I sitting here lying? I'm not lying.
Exactly.
You don't know what's going on inside of my body. If I'm telling you, but then the shit is so expensive in today's world. For people to get.
I think American Western culture, we have a great emergency system. So if you need emergency care, we have the phenomenal service. But when it comes to managing care and health care, it's backwards.
Oh yeah, I truly do agree. I truly do agree. And I mean, how do we fix it? I don't know. I don't know, because it just goes back to, do we actually have a cure for cancer? Yeah, we probably do. But look at the amount of money that's made through every type of company, through things like this, through things like my depression, or things like your lupus. Like, look at the amount of money that could be made, or of cancer. Let's take a piece of a lung because we know we can, and that person will still survive.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I'm a firm believer that the body, if you feed your body what it needs, it'll heal itself.
Yeah, I mean, there is a leaf in India or something like that, and it's called kratom. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Okay, there's a show hosted by a guy I know on Netflix. His name's Chris Bell. It's called A Leaf of Faith, and it's this thing. It's been around for 200 years. It's called kratom, and it's just a leaf. They ground it into tea. But hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people have bought into the belief that kratom has stopped their addictions. I take kratom. When I take kratom, I don't feel the need to drink. I don't feel the need to pop meds if I'm hurting. It's literally just a drink. And people all over the world, veterans, depression, anxiety, it's just a tea. And it got criminalized in every state. It doesn't make you high. It doesn't make you all these other words, I don't know. But I'm a stupid guy. But it's called kratom, and it's been like banned in every state, even though it's been allowed up until it started breaking people from the opioid crisis. Hundreds of thousands of people said, I just stopped taking Vicodin. I just like this drink,
now all of a sudden it's outlawed.
Yeah, and then it got outlawed. Yeah, just because it's literally just a powdered tea. But what it does, it stops joint pain. I have so many injuries from powerlifting, and when I drank it, it felt like, for a moment, I just felt like a normal person walking around. And yeah, kratom is, and they still sell it, but now it's on drug tests, and so people are freaked out. I can't. But it's not a drug. It's been around for hundreds of years. Kratom. You should look it up after.
I will look it up. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Chris Bell's documentary on Netflix is mind blowing. Really? Because my buddy had introduced me to it. He was a power lifter. He hurts all the time, and he takes all these things for his joint pain, and he's like, "Wow, dude, I took this, and I really just feel normal today." Not like, hey, man,
right.
Dude, I was hungry for a cheeseburger at Burger King, so I went and got one.
Really good at that.
Yeah, thanks. But, yeah, I mean, if it would stop hundreds of thousands of people from taking pills,
yeah,
I think people should look into that more. I don't know. But I'm no doctor or scientist. I'm just a stupid guy sitting in a basement, And
that's what I say. I'm not a doctor. I'm just trying to teach people what worked for me. And if it worked, if all of this worked for me, it has to work for somebody else too.
Can you tell people more about what you actually did now? Explain, because I know that there's a lot of people who are listening. They don't even know what gluten-free means.
Gluten is wheat, rye, and barley. So it's a binder for all that. Binds pizza doughs and bakes and cookies and things like that. So and I have an intolerance to it. So my body just doesn't know how to process it. So what it does is my body fights it and then turns it into inflammation in my joints. So since I stay away from it, and I try, and I'm not super good at this, but I try to stay and do kind of an inflammatory diet where there's certain foods that are considered inflammatory.
Okay, now what type of foods are those?
Dairy, any processed foods, artificial sugars.
They're considered
They're considered inflammatory.
Yes, gotcha.
I try to stick to an inflammatory diet. So again, I'm not coming in here saying that I never eat this thing and I'm perfect.
No, absolutely.
I've been known to sit on my couch and eat a bag of jelly beans or a bag of chips.
Do you eat the black jelly bean?
I don't eat black jelly beans.
Oh, thank God.
But the Starburst jelly beans are the best.
Oh my God! And if you wait. If you get all reds?
Yes.
Oh!
Yes. Yes, the package of all the, for sure.
All reds.
So I'm not coming out saying that I follow this 100%. However, I don't drink any soda. I haven't drank a soda since I went gluten-free, which is 8 years ago. I try to stay away from processed foods, artificial sugars, things like that. So that's how I started when I went gluten-free, is just soda and the gluten. And then over the last 8 years, and it's been a slow process. I've just learning a little bit more. And then so today, now I know what to give my body and what to not.
Okay, so now, so you did the gluten-free. Now, do you have other people who have done the same method who had the same issues as you? Is there do you have equal matches to people? Have you talked about it on sites and stuff where people can also come to you and be or you went to people that were suffering from the lupus and the fibromyalgia and they said, I did gluten-free. This is what I did. And did you guys match at all?
Well, yes and no. There's sites out there. There's autoimmune sites and things like that I'm part of. That it's been proven that there's other people that have tried this and also
it worked. Yeah, and it worked.
Right.
And was this ever even a recommended thing at a doctor's office?
Oh, for sure not. This was. I was gluten-free before gluten-free was cool. I mean, you couldn't even find gluten-free things when I went gluten-free. But now, unfortunately, people are going gluten-free and they're just replacing all of the gluten with processed food because they figured out how to take the gluten out of something and then they add a bunch of other crap to it.
Oh, yeah.
So now it tastes good, but now you're just feeding your body with a bunch of crap.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the same thing with keto. Okay, hey, I'm going to stop eating carbs, but I'm going to eat greasy sticks of bacon 24/7 and just give me all the cheese. Yeah, exactly. Just cover me in cheese.
Exactly. It's just like being vegetarian. Yeah, you can eat vegetarian and not eat meat, but you can eat Oreos and chips. And So unless you're doing it and staying away from the things that are actually causing the issue, you're just trading one health issue for another.
I really love people too that get, have gotten better and you've moved past and forward with things, but I can also tell when you learn what you're doing in a way that you can actually talk to other people and teach.
Right.
Because there's maybe somebody in Viola, Illinois is not going to come across somebody who had lupus and fibromyalgia and went gluten-free. But you can change the course of somebody's life because maybe it did work for someone else.
Right.
Just like it worked for you. And so if somebody's listening to this podcast in, let's say, the Philippines right now, and this works for them, you can change someone's entire life just because they made that little move that you guys made because you took a chance on something and you weren't being told to.
Right.
Yeah, it's a fascinating thing. This is where the internet has its beauty.
For sure. Yeah, when it was recommended that I do the podcast, Cole was home and kind of talking to him, and I'm like, dude, I don't know. I'm not good at this sort of thing. And he's like, it's not really about you though, Mom. It's about whoever is listening and can be helped by your story.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, oh, well, all right then.
And I love you. I think you're an absolutely great person. I from the first day I met you, I mean, I knew that Ken, I want to say that Ken is a shitbag, but I love that guy.
But he is a shitbag. But he's all mine.
And the way he talks about you too made me like him so much more.
Oh, that's
because before we did the podcast, he can say all the shit that he wants to you about being on the podcast. He was so nervous.
Was he?
Yeah, because the day before he came on the podcast, he's like, hey, can you come up here to the shop and just talk to me about what we're going to do and talk about? But the way he talked about you was excitement in a goofy way. He shit on you, but in a way that he loves you,
Yeah.
And I really love that about him, and I see it both ways for you guys, and you guys are excellent people. And I really think, Ken's story's awesome, but I was so fascinated when he told me your story. Mm-hmm. That's why I instantly went, I would love to have you on this podcast, because we turned from this goofy show where it was just comedy, where I'd sit here and be like, yeah, so I was at the grocery store today and somebody bumped into me, and what am I even talking about? And now we're talking about things that are real and can help people and change. Yeah. And even if it does not reach somebody who it matters to down the road, it matters to you, and your story matters to you, and it can be important beyond just what you've been through. It's not just a history story.
Right.
It's a present story that you're still living. This is part of you as a person. And now it's a part of, Shot 30 Podcast.
There you go. I'm famous. My 5 minutes of fame.
No, this is, right now we're at 46 minutes of fame.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I can talk way longer.
Oh, man. I think, I really do think that people, when they open up and talk about things, whether it's something tough or difficult or something they've overcome, it has a purpose. And I think that your story absolutely has a huge purpose. I'm so thankful to have you here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. You're awesome. You're absolutely awesome. So now what do you do from here? How long do you have till you retire?
Oh, Ken just bought a restaurant. It's going to be a while.
Oh God, Ken, you really screwed shit up here.
No, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I don't know. I will continue. I found that if I don't go to the gym, I was off. I went and saw Cole down in North Carolina a few weeks ago and sat in a car for 15 hours. And I'm one where I'm at the gym 5-6 days a week. No.
Does that make you feel locked up again?
I literally putting up my Christmas tree. So I deadlift over 200 pounds and I can squat 195, and so I'm lifting heavy stuff, and it's all
you left bench out of that.
I don't do bench.
I'm sorry.
I can floor press about 35.
335. Yeah.
No. So for where I started to where I'm at now, I'm pretty strong.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so, and to me, that's turned into functional training where I can carry my grandkids up the stairs and not have to worry and move furniture by myself and things like that. So it's created so many different avenues for me, because if I was still unhealthy, there was no way I could have played with them or done any of that stuff.
And where would the development be at this point? How far in that hole would you have sunk?
I would have been in a scooter by now.
Oh my God! And your depression with it?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. It just goes into what we were just saying. You're this high sprung person who's happy and excited and talk. You could be this person just a mope.
Yeah. I'd still have humor.
Oh,
I'd always have my sarcasm. I told somebody yesterday that sarcasm was my superpower.
I still think that I could, even if you did have a scooter, I think I could beat you in a scooter race.
I don't know. I bet I'd be pretty good at it.
When I worked in the prison, I worked in medical for a long time, and I really was working on my wheelchair speed, and so I was always flying around. I feel like I developed this skill towards a wheelchair of going really fast.
I bet. There you go. There's always that. Yeah. So anyway, so I drove for 15 hours.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. So
let's get back to my story here. And so I didn't work out the whole time I was with Cole. So just kind of hanging around, doing a lot of nothing. I walked on the beach, things like that. Then I drove for, like I said, 15 hours, sitting in a car, drove straight home. And I was, stiff and sore just from sitting that long. I went to put my Christmas tree up, threw my back out.
Oh.
Just from putting an ornament on the tree. Mm-hmm. But it's just because I wasn't moving. Uh-huh. It has nothing to do with, hurting myself at CrossFit. Because everybody says that it's dangerous, and it's not.
It really isn't.
It isn't. It's anything you do and you try to excel at, eventually you're probably going to get hurt.
Absolutely.
If you're pushing your body to extreme. And all the injuries that I've ever had have never been because of CrossFit. I mean, I had knee surgery because I dropped from a rope. I was climbing a rope and I dropped too high. And so I hurt my knee. I hurt my shoulder because I was throwing a ball. And, just stupid shit like that.
I understand that. I mean, I tore my hamstrings, and it wasn't because of powerlifting. I tore my hamstrings because of neglect towards taking care of my body. I dropped 715 pounds on my foot because a floor mat ripped in half. It wasn't because of powerlifting. I mean, my powerlifting career is over, but it's not because I was powerlifting. It was because of neglect towards things, or not paying attention. The floor mat, I shouldn't have been lifting on it. I mean, it's said for a heavy lifting, but I shouldn't have been doing it. Yeah, and that's just what it comes down to. And I totally understand that feeling. You're in the car driving, and so you also go into that place too where you're like, oh, my body, you get out after driving for that long.
Yeah.
And so you go into a darker place than most people because you go into that place of where you were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Shot 30 Podcast is sponsored by Handmade by Haley. Handmade by Haley is making all those decorative designs for Christmas, Valentine's Day, anything. She can make it say your name, custom. I mean, just go check out her stuff. Handmade by Haley on Facebook and... Oh, just Facebook. Yeah, go to her Facebook page today. Handmade by Haley. Coming out of Kiwani. She has front door pickup, and I think she doesn't do shipping anymore because that's too expensive.
And very slow.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, she's great. She's absolutely great. She makes all these signs. She made this. Yeah, she made that. She makes all kinds of cool signs. And she does, the cool, you can change it out. It says, Christmas of 2020. The Versluises. And then you can change out the 2020 to 2021.
Can I change out the Versluis in case I get sick of Ken?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can totally do that.
Just kidding, honey.
Yeah, she ain't kidding. She ain't kidding, Ken. But, I mean, we're at the wrapping up point. I would absolutely love for you to come back on the show and talk more. I know that we're going to have a lot of questions that come from this podcast. A lot of people over the next couple of weeks message in. It's a really cool thing. And I think a lot of people have questions for you. And the next time we do an episode, we'll just go through them all.
Sounds good.
Bobbie, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Please tell everybody where they can go to your stuff again. The one Instagram page.
Instagram, it is handicap2 healthy.
Handicap to healthy. And then, do you care if people follow your Facebook page?
No, that's fine.
Okay, just Bobbie
Fernell Versluis.
Okay, and it's Bobbie with an I.
I-E.
Oh, it is I-E?
I don't know on my Facebook. My name is spelled I-E, but on my Facebook it might.
Maybe it was the Facebook or Instagram or something. I clicked on I.
The Instagram might be Bobbie69 with just an I. It's the year I was born.
Oh, okay.
Great year.
This is Shot 30 Podcast. Hey, thank you to The Bone Collector, Viola, Illinois, Mrs. Newbie's Cakes and Cookies on Facebook, Handmade by Haley, and Peel Automotive in Princeton. Visit Matt Manning. This is Shot 30 Podcast. Visit on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, CastBox, YouTube. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being here. And, I mean... this haircut that you got and this makeup, you are gorgeous, right? And thank you so much.
Thank you. It was fun.
This was great. You're so good. You were so